So I would like to ask Mr. Noria three questions. The first question is, Noria Saab, I know that you have been a person, when I worked with you, you were my first client when I set up a consulting career. And the stories I heard about you is that when you used to do a review of business, you asked people to focus on what was achieved and what were the lessons learned. But if somebody had failed to achieve the target, it's not as if he was exposed. So your people who used to work with you said that Mr. Noria's style of doing business review is very unique and different. Could you tell us a little bit about that philosophy which I observed from the first day you were my first client? Something about the way you did reviews to build people rather than to diminish their capacity.
No, I think, Anil, basically my belief has been that if the review is meant to review achievement or performance, it's not worth reviewing, first of all. Because performance, what has been achieved, you can know by papers, etc. So there's no point of wasting your time. And the wasting is time of the people with whom you are reviewing it. Review only makes sense if at the end of the review, the person with whom you are reviewing gains something out of that. And therefore, I used to say, okay, look, in India, there's a hobby of discussing failures and trying to understand how you can avoid failures. I think you will learn something from failure, avoidance of failures. I'm not disputing that. But you can learn much more from success. So my emphasis was that try to understand that those people who have succeeded, what made them succeed. Because then the others who could not succeed should follow that to succeed. Because if you analyze success, you achieve much more results than analyzing failure. That was my style.
The second thing that, yes, and this is, at that time the word appreciative inquiry, which we now teach you in a course, was not that prevalent. But I think the course we teach you is based on what I heard in my beginning of my consulting career with my first client about the way he focused on the positives of people. The story went, if you had made a major blunder and you entered Mr. Noria's room, you would come out feeling 20 feet taller. And you would be enthused to do something about it in terms of learning. And the stories I used to hear from some of our other companies was that if you made a mistake, you dare not enter the room of the chairman or the CEO. So it's something very interesting. The second question, Noria Saab, I want to ask you. You have a remarkable presence in terms of your energy. Even as your age gets older of the body, if I asked you, Noria Saab, shall we have the meeting in September? You will say, between 14th to 16th September, you can do it. So I said, okay, let me check my calendar, I will say. Then you will say, okay, if you want to do it on 15th, between 2 to 4 seems to be a good time. And this is without reference to any calendar. It just comes to you beautifully and naturally. And I'm curious to know, where did you get this gift from? Because we can't stop talking about it.
That gift is slowly diminishing, eh?
Okay.
But I think my view is that if you focus on few things and don't try to remember everything, then you remember well. But if you try to remember everything, then you can't remember important things. So I discard 80% of the things I don't remember, frankly.
Right.
But I only remember 5-10% of the things which matter to me.
Okay.
So the mind is not cluttered.
Okay. The third thing I want to ask you is that whenever you have attempted something, you have always had the humility to owe whatever the success has come to you to the elders in your family or to the Guruji that you used to serve when you were a child. I want you to tell these young people where that comes from, and also a lot of us, but especially this message may be very relevant for our graduates today.
This is a difficult question, Anil. Because it is more a question of faith. I have certain faith that if you are blessed by somebody, he can modify your destiny. Now, many people will not believe that, therefore it's a very difficult question. Because as per the Indian philosophy, if you believe in the theory of karma, then karma is like a bank account. That your good acts add to your bank account and bad deeds subtract from the good accounts. And these, should I say, sages and others who have achieved a lot in spiritual path, I think the only difference with them and us is that they know their bank account and we don't know. And if they like you, or if they think you are the patra, as they call it, that you are the right person, then they're willing to make their account get subtracted and your account get added. So I always believe that if I have had little bit of better destiny, it must be the blessing of those people, either my parents, grandparents, or the Swamiji, who must have got his own subtraction done to make my addition done. I think that's my faith.
Wonderful. And my last question, sir, I've heard some remarkable stories about your children. One story I heard about your daughter, that she came back and said that she had not done that well in her school exam, and she was worried what will happen to her results, and then she stood first all over India. And the other story I heard is about how the same daughter of yours, when she was at Harvard Medical, she was made some very phenomenal offer in terms of money, but she didn't think even for a minute before denying that, before refusing that and saying, I better focus on things that matter to me and the research and the work that she does. And then I heard this amazing story about Nitin as to how he chose to be, from his IIT days, chose to follow this path of being an academic and researcher and teacher, and how when he talked to you about it as to how the dialogue he had between you and him. Of course, Nitin now has done all of us proud, and I have watched him very, with great affection to see him coming from an IIT engineer to the pride of India today. So I'd like to understand what you and Mrs. Noria and the family has done to give this kind of values, to bring up such children who are the pride of the whole country today.
Anil, I think we are fortunate, basically. Every parent wants to give good values to children. We are no exception. I think it's the children who bring glory to the parents. Right? So therefore, we have to be proud of our children or thank our children to bring the glory to us. Now, what I told my children, if I was to give the advice to them, they used to ask me, like any other child asks you, Daddy, what shall we do? What profession shall we follow? So my advice to them was that every profession is good, as long as you can excel in that profession. Because if you don't excel in a profession, then that profession is no good. You take anybody, whether you take solicitors or doctors or anybody, you can find a ladder where an excellent doctor, you need 6 months to make an appointment. And not so excellent doctor, you probably waits for you when you go there, right? So I think, therefore, my advice to children was that you only do that thing where you have a reasonable probability of excelling. So if I give you the example of Nitin, for example, who has done pretty well, you see, when Nitin went to Sloan School of Management at MIT, we had chosen the subject of finance because I knew that financial services and others will be, in the craze of the day. And he was admitted into finance. Those days I was CEO of Crompton Greaves, so I used to travel quite often to USA. And when I went after 3 months to MIT, I found Nitin has changed his line. He had chosen OB, Organization, Behavior and Leadership. So I asked him, look, you had got admission in finance and now you have chosen OB, what happened? He said, Dad, you told me that do that where you have a probability of excelling. He said, in 3 months I discovered that I won't excel in finance. There is a probability that I will excel in OB. I said, fine, that's okay, no problem. Then when he finished his doctorate, I frankly, being a CEO, etc., wanted him to be an entrepreneur and slowly become an industrialist. So I fixed up a joint venture type of thing with him, for him, made all the financial, technical arrangements, etc. And I sent him to visit the person with whom I was in Ireland, with whom I was going to do the joint venture. He visited that and he came back and he said, "Okay, Dad, I think you've done a great job for me, but would you mind if I teach?" I said, "No problem. If teaching gives you happiness, then you teach." And I think he has proven right. So basically, my advice to everybody is that discover your calling and follow your calling. Then you are likely to make a difference to yourself as well to somebody else. So that's the simple thing, I think.
Thank you very much. I think you now know why I call Mr. Noria not only the best boss I've ever had, but I call him as a role model in many respects. I think I learned in Eicher, which was a company I fell in love with, and the founder of Eicher, Mr. Vikram Lal, to me was a role model for values and a great person to work with. And then in the last 10 years, I've had an absolute joy of working with Mr. Noria, and every moment that I spend with him, and you now know why it's such a pleasure being with him. So thank you, Noria Sahab. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You want to show that video?